Learning looks like from the time that child and that family walks into your door. Do they feel the environment? That's how it all begins. The smell, the look, the atmosphere, the sounds, because children pick up more than what we as adults pick up. So as soon as they walk in the door, they can sense the spirit of peace and security. And as I do family interviews, and as soon as they walk in the door, it's like, Darlene,
you can tell.
I feel the peace in your home. Your home is so welcoming. And then it goes from structure, so you launch out to these different movements of the day. I made sure the day is well thought out, well planned. My husband, he gets on me all the time. It's like, you know what? Do you know the meaning of a bed? I was like, I do. It's like, well, when are you going to go to bed? After everything is done. It's the surety of knowing that my day is planned out. When the children come in, they know they hang up their coats and take off their shoes and go wash their hands. And there's a playtime area right in the, as soon as they enter into my home.
From lesson plans to classrooms, learning begins right at home, right in the midst of our communities. I'm so happy to have with me today Darlene Johnson, who is the founder of Darlene's Daycare. Welcome, Darlene.
Yes, thank you, Les. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so honored to spend this day with you, and it's a great privilege.
Darlene, we're just going to jump right in. I want to hear about your story. I want to know all about how you started your daycare. So tell me a little bit about your journey.
Well, this is how it all started. And it's so funny because fresh out of high school, my aunt, she said, Darlene, I noticed you really love children. I'm like, I do, because I was raised in a family of 12 children. My mom had 12 kids.
Okay.
And I just love children. So she said, hey, there's a lady in the building. She's looking for someone to help with her children. Are you interested? I'm like, why not? Fresh out of high school, about to graduate. And I said, well, yeah, I'll do it. And lo and behold, I stayed with this family until I got married.
Wow.
And it's just been a journey since then. And till this day, we still stay connected to this, with the family. And it's been a journey.
And so that's how you started, from caring from the neighbor or family friends, children, to starting your own.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. And that's what we see a lot of times from folks who are beginning in home care. It usually starts with like a relative or grandma or someone watching kids. And then it's like a word of mouth, right?
Yes.
At the job. Oh, where's your kid? Oh, my kid is with Aunt Mary. And Aunt Mary is watching her kid too,
Right,
and then they call Aunt Mary. And so now Aunt Mary, can have up to 6 kids in the home without being licensed, and really begin to nurture that love of learning in children and building a family business.
Yeah. And as it went on, as I was caring for that particular family, my sister had children. And she's like, Darlene, can you watch the children? Do you mind? I was like, why not? Just add to it, because I was married, then I moved on. And it's doing daycare, taking care of my sister's children. And it went from her children to just say, hey, I have a couple of co-workers.
That's how it starts.
Who's looking for children. I'm like, oh, why not? Send them on. And it went from their children to, hey, lady up the street, she's looking for someone to keep their kids. And they the children turned out to be so successful and so smart. And the tree just kept growing and growing and growing and growing till now I have all these branches now.
That's great. And that's how quality care works, right?
Yes.
It's really about that word of mouth. You don't have to advertise.
Exactly.
So I want to jump right into it because my daughter is a product of home daycare. She went within your childcare connection community, she went at 6 weeks. And then she also went to Miss Pat. I know you and I know Pat Twyman. And so she went to Miss Pat. And so I am so connected to home daycare providers because I see firsthand the fruit that impact had in my child.
As I was keeping the children, and I noticed that once my children were born, you feel like I have empathy for the parents who do have to go out to, work and leave their children. It's that feeling of security and trust. I didn't want to be that mom who sent her children up to daycare or to these, big centers, you know. And I was like, Lord, let me take care of my children. And I went from taking care of my 2 children to 14, and then it just kept growing.
And that was a decision I made too. And I was thinking that same thing along those same lines of, I'm not ready for my daughter to go into a big center. I wanted someplace where I could trust the provider. I wanted something small. And so, I was very happy with my choice. But I do want to jump into some questions about learning. And so when, from your perspective and being a home care provider with 15 plus kids, what does learning look like in a family home care on a daily basis? So talk a little bit about that.
That's a very interesting question. What does learning look like? Learning looks like from the time that child and that family walks into your door. Do they feel the environment? That's how it all begins. The smell, the look, the atmosphere, the sounds. Because children pick up more than what we as adults pick up. So as soon as they walk in the door, they can sense the spirit of peace. And security. And as I do family interviews, and as soon as they walk in the door, it's like, Darlene,
you can tell.
I feel the peace in your home. Your home is so welcoming. And then it goes from structure, so you go off, you launch out to these different movements of the day. I made sure the day is well thought out, well planned. My husband, he gets on me all the time. It's like, you know what? Do you know the meaning of a bed? I was like, I do. It's like, well, when are you going to go to bed? After everything is done. It's the surety of knowing that my day is planned out. When the children come in, they know they hang up their coats and take off their shoes and go wash their hands. And there's a playtime area right in the as soon as they enter into my home, it's a little table there, and they all pick out what they want to play with until it's time for breakfast, and then a routine goes on.
That's so great to hear, because that was one of the things that drew me to my home care provider. Similar what you said. When I walked into the room, it was set up like a little baby classroom. And there was an area for large group for all the children to come together. I saw the toys, the individual toys that students could play with, sorting, and all of that good stuff happening. And I think what impressed me the most about your childcare network, way back then, even 15, 20 years ago, Pat and Miss Linda were already using creative curriculum, which was something as a teacher that I value, because we use that in our classrooms every day. And so for me, being an educator, it was so great to walk into a home care space that looked and sounded like school, which was a familiar place to me.
Exactly. And I can connect with you on that, because if the children don't feel that the atmosphere is to their level, then you're going to have chaos.
I was just going to say, you got to have that structure. You got to have those guardrails.
It has to be totally chaos-free.
And it's not like it's so scripted, right?
Exactly.
You can set it's like boundaries with love, right?
Exactly.
Just because you give your kids boundaries don't mean you don't love them, right? And so just because you set up a structure in your house for learning doesn't mean that the children don't have an opportunity to freely, play and develop to their best potential. I do want to go back to something you said. You talked about trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so how does having a small group in a home setting shape the way you build trust with families?
The way I set it up is it all begins at the time of interview. That's when the whole cake begins to come together.
Okay.
When I have my first interview, I always tell the parents that when you come, relax.
Yes.
I'm not new at the game. I totally get how you're feeling. So I put myself.
I'm new to you.
Yes,
right?
I'm new to you, but yet you can do this. You can trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And once the interview goes out, matter of fact, I just had an interview. I had a young man. He's in a childcare, and he's just going on his second week. And the mom said, "Darlene, you are what we've been looking for."
Yes.
And the dad was like, "Oh my gosh," because the kid is coming from out of a center, and they were like, "Oh, Darlene, we feel so blessed to have you. We don't worry."
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, you can call me anytime.
Yeah.
They did not call me one time.
Let me tell you, when I dropped my daughter off, and I know I probably said this before, and I'm, again, educator, teacher, have been teaching for years.
Yes.
I was lingering around because I felt so comfortable in there. I felt so comfortable with the owner who was the operator. And I didn't even want to leave. And when I left, I was like, oh my God, I'm leaving my baby. But I felt so good. And I needed her at that time because I was a new mother. I really didn't know. My mother was sick. And so, taking my baby to someone at 6 weeks, that really is trust. But I trusted her completely. And she took such great care of me.
Yes.
And my daughter. So I get what you're saying. It's a new experience, but relationships are built at that first interaction because it's like walking into a school. You can sense and feel the love of the culture of the children that are in that school and how they're valued just by walking through the door and just getting a sense of what's happening around.
Exactly. And for you to say that you started off your baby in daycare at 6 weeks, that's the time I really like it the most when the kids come, is when they're 6 weeks, because 6 weeks is the period where that child can really build a bond and a trust with you. And it's not saying that you shouldn't bring your child into daycare, but at 6 weeks, that's when the relationship, the brainstem starts connecting the electrics and everything in a little child's brain, establishes trust.
Great.
And that's when the language starts beginning. Because they said when a baby is born, that they know so many different languages. So to know my language, because that child's going to be with me 10 hours.
Yeah.
So those the most precious moments. Yeah.
And so I have another question
Yes.
to get your thoughts on. How do you use play to prepare children for pre-K? Because we know at some point they're going to leave you. Yes, they come in at 6 weeks and they stay with you the duration, but there is a transition time. So how do you use play to ensure that your little ones that you've cared for all these years are ready to enter that next phase of life in an elementary school building?
The way I use play in a child care setting, in my setting, now I know different home daycares have different curriculums, different programs, but my curriculum is set up on a religious base.
Okay.
So we play, we talk about God, and then I have a curriculum that I use, and it's based off that curriculum, or not always that curriculum. It's the way I establish. And then I'll let the children just be free from dramatic play, pretending like you're a fireman, pretending like you're a construction worker. You know, I have boys, so they get their cars, and I said, let's count the cars. You know, okay, now before we move on, I'm letting you guys know I'm going to set the timer. And that timer is going to tell you, okay, we need to stop. We need to get ready to transition and move on. So they're learning that, okay, we need to move on. The timer is stopping without the chaos of, I don't want to, you know.
So you're establishing those routines early.
Exactly.
Are you building so when you plan out, because you said you plan out everything, you lay everything out, and when you do your lesson planning, are you thinking about themes that are of interest to the children that you're exposing them to? So, for example, they may go into that dramatic play center, but at this time, it may be a bakery because we're getting ready to come up on Valentine's Day shortly, and they're cooking cookies or cupcakes or whatever they're pretending. Or do you have some times in your day where it's just a free choice, but there's both opportunities available for the children to have some structured play, but then some independent play?
It is set up structure. Not so much a structure like you gotta do it.
Exactly.
You know, it's my way or the highway. No, the children are free. They make their choices. And actually what I do, I'll stand back and watch the children play. I was like, oh, so if you're playing with money, I get it. You know, we're going to do banking. So we'll go like, hey, let's pretend like we're at a bank, or they're pretending like they're cooking. And I have one of the boys, he's 2. He's so smart. And he's like, Miss Darlene, can we play, what was he playing? He said, can we play fire truck? I was like, yeah, we can play fire trucks. And then he gets all the blocks and he lines them all up. And I'll just watch him and say, I'm going to make a highway. You're going to do what? I'm going to make a highway. I'm like, okay. And they just go on, and I just let them create their world. Yeah. Where it's not guided play, it's more letting them have free play.
Great. And what skills do you see that children develop in home-based settings that families may not immediately recognize as learning? I know you just talked about, you know, letting kids play and build and explore. And I'm sure your role in that, as you're standing back, you're probably questioning and asking, like, why did you do that? Or how can you make it bigger? You know, just asking and infusing that vocabulary. But, you know, if a parent walked in and was observing, what are some things that they may not recognize as learning?
You hit it right on the nail. Girl, when the children first walk into my home, it begins there. I know the babies are precious. I know they don't want to let them go. They're going to hold them all the way to college. But when a child comes into my home and the mom takes off unzip their jacket or help them take off their shoes, I'll tell them, stop. Let them do it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just a little help. No. If you're rushing, I got you. I'll watch them do it. Go ahead, Michael, you know, take off your shoes. And the parents are in awe. Yeah. It's like, I didn't know they can do it. Zip it up. Yeah. Yep. Come on, snap it.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Hey, there's a good one. I have cameras, you know, around my home. So I was looking out the window and I saw the mom carry them. I'm not going to say what age, but carry the child from out the car into my home. And I said, you know what? Let that be the last time you do that.
Yes. Guilty. Because sometimes it's so, but I know, but you know, it's not even about letting them go. It's just because it was so much quicker. And I was just like, pick you up and walk you, or as you were getting ready, I'm zipping up. But the teacher and me get what you're doing. Yes. You're saying that's a learning opportunity.
It is. You know,
that's fine motor skills. Letting them put that together and letting them pull it up. Yes, Ms. Darlene, you're right. But I'm telling you. Yes. So that I get, yes, that
and washing
is
their
one.
hands and going to the bathroom.
Yes, all of those routines that we as moms want to rush through, those are all learning opportunities for children.
It is. And it's teaching the child that it's okay, mommy, you can go to work. And that way, when they go into the large schools, they're not standing looking like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yes, I saw that too. Like, yes, that is so true. Because sometimes they're like, what do I do? They're standing there. Other kids are already zipped off and gone, put their boots up and everything.
Now,
last question.
This last one is teach them how to line up.
Okay.
And that's what I do.
Okay.
But I know you probably shouldn't, but
no, I mean, they have to know how to move around, right? In schools. Everybody can't. Those halls in schools are big and long and wide. And when a child sees it, what do they want to do? Pew! Yes. But, teaching them there's a way to walk, right? There's a way to move around. Whether that move around is in a line or whether that's how we walk between things that are happening within your home care space.
Absolutely.
It's all about building one spatial awareness, but also about respecting other people because there's things happening in different spaces and you want to be respectful of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, last question. Tell me I know you told me a couple stories already, but tell me one of your favorite stories.
My favorite story goes back many, many years. And it's so touching because I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you.
You know what? This is a safe space.
Is it a safe
here
space?
Here at Circle Time Conversations.
Okay. Yes. So I had a little boy and the mom was looking for childcare. And the child has special needs. He was born with fluid on the brain. Yes. And then mom, she was very concerned about leaving him. And I established a trust with her. We did an interview and, I assured her that everything was going to be okay. And she was like, Darlene, I know this might be too much for you. I was like, it's not too much. I can do it. She said, only thing about it, he can't hold his head up. I said, he's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And she said, well, I also have to tell you these few other things. That the doctor said that he would never run. He would never walk because I carried him. And she said, if you can work a miracle with my baby, I would really appreciate it. So I would let him sit with the other children. And when I saw that his position of his head was not straight out, prop it up and say, you can do this, baby. Come on. You can do this.
Yes.
And he spoke very little language. And I said, come on, sweetheart. I would talk with him, read him stories. And then he started talking, saying a few words. And the mom was in tears. She was like, he's talking. I said, come on, hold that head up, baby. He held his head up until this day. This boy is walking.
What?
Running.
Oh, my goodness.
Honor roll student.
Wow.
Just like any other normal boy.
Amazing.
And she's, Miss Darlene, I cannot thank you enough for what you did for my baby. And when she took the baby to the hospital, the doctors were in awe.
About what he was able to do.
About what he was able
to
do.
That, that speaks volumes to the place that home care providers have within the community and within this space of childcare, right? You had that time because you had a certain number of kids in front of you, right? So if you were with 25 kids, I don't know that you would necessarily have that time you would need some other supports in there too to be able to do that. And it also speaks volumes to the way she trusted you, right? To be able to come to someone and say, here's the concerns and here are the issues that I'm dealing with my baby. And I welcome you into this space to bring your knowledge and expertise and support. And we're in this together.
Absolutely.
That speaks to the volumes of trust that she placed in you.
Absolutely.
And I can't believe that this baby is thriving. That is amazing.
college?
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a story that sticks with me.
Right.
It just goes to show that if you have the relationship with the parents, and it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
I developed a family presence. We were in it together. I would share with her points on what to do when he's not with me. Don't let nobody speak nothing down on him.
That's it.
Keep positive affirmations going with him. When he sleep, talk to him in his sleep. Tell him he's successful. He can do it. So when we have that connection one-on-one, that's what the baby heard.
So that's all the baby's
hearing.
They're hearing that in your care. They're hearing that in mom's care.
Yes.
And so the baby had no choice but to know, I can do it. Because that's all I'm surrounded by, positivity and strong words of encouragement.
Yes, and I am a firm believer of affirmation, positive affirmation. Because to me, affirmations are like the grass that grows in the season.
That's true. And we're going to end on that note.
I don't want to, but we have to. I'm enjoying this.
No, me too. No, thank you, Darlene.
Thank you.
I just want to say, just having the experience that I did with my daughter in a home daycare and seeing how she's grown and blossomed, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing and that I know you will continue to do. And I want to encourage you to reach back and pull a high schooler on and get them, find someone that is, loving children and childcare and bring in the next generation so that other children will have the benefit of not only learning from you, but who you bring and mentor on into this work.
Yes, yes. You're welcome, Leslie. Thank you.